What's going on, everybody? It's Chris Amaya. We have Blayse Martinez here. Fairly new agent, right? I mean, you've been doing this for how long now?
Coming up on 7 months.
Heck yeah, dude, 7 months. So Blayse and I, we got started right around the same time. Want to kind of highlight Blayse because, I mean, right off the rip, like he started killing it pretty quickly. So, I mean, pretty new agent. What was your best month?
27 something.
Okay.
This month should be a lot better than that.
Oh yeah, so 27,000 and some change, and just kind of give everybody a perspective like how insurance pays. The insurance companies, right? They pay out 27, like let's say in that example, $27,000 of annual premium. Based off your commission rate, you could get anywhere from 100%, 120%, 65% is the starting compensation. So obviously, the more you sell, the more you make, and that compensation increases. So insurance companies typically give a 75% cash advance of that. So on $27,000, I mean, you do the math, it's pretty good. Especially, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, like this is like is this your first sales job?
First sales job. Owned a tire shop before, sold
Okay.
tires. I wouldn't put it anywhere close to any like normal sales. I mean, that's just somebody has to come and get something, right? There's no like objections or nothing like
They're
that.
not like, you know what, let me talk to my wife about which tire package I want to go with. Yeah.
If you come in with a blown out tire, you're going to buy a tire. So
No, for sure.
never done anything like this for sure.
Right.
So
yeah, no, I think of like the times I've gone to the tire shop, like I'm never like haggling or, it's just like, this is what it is, man. My tires are fucked. Let me go ahead and buy, whatever spare tires. Is that a family business or how'd you get involved in that?
Yeah, family business. Got in 15 years old, started that.
Mm-hmm.
Was in it forever. Working with families tough. It was great, but it's just one of those things where you see like, your end goal. I mean, what is it? You know what I mean? You're kind of capped. Small businesses, never going to make more than six figures, right? Especially in a saturated market like that.
And what market were you in? Just that way the audience kind of knows.
Yeah, I mean, we did new and used tires, but and used tires are not a big market, although most people just go do a discount tire or something like that.
That's where I would go typically.
Right. So, but like when I was working there right before I started this, I took a look at like how many tire shops were in Pueblo where I drive from, and it was 74 I counted in Pueblo alone.
Oh, holy shit.
So, when you're competing with that, we're lucky, we've been around so long, but
yeah,
I mean, there's no end goal to come up to the next level and go like corporate, like discount, right? So it's like one of those things. I'm just started looking around for something better because I know I can do hard work.
Right.
I mean, I know I can put in hours. Never had problems with that. So, found this and
it was just like on Indeed. Like, how did you?
Yep. So Indeed, surfing around, I actually had 2 interviews set up. I was going to go manage a furniture row.
Okay.
Which was a nice salary, actually, surprisingly enough.
Yeah. What was that?
I think they were going to give like 6 figures salary and then like slight commission as well.
Oh, okay.
And so had an interview in person for that probably like a couple days after Ty interviewed me.
Okay.
And Ty was just super convincing. So,
yeah.
And I'm great at interviewing. So.
Okay. I mean, especially like from Ty, like, I don't know, like, I didn't really have much of an interview with Ty because, I mean, the way I got involved, it was like more like I already knew I was going to sell insurance. So I was just like, all right, like, who's going to teach me how to sell insurance? Talked to Ty. He sold, multiple 6 figures in insurance. Obviously, last year, he sold damn near 700,000. And Easton sold 940. And so I was like, holy shit. I'm like, all right, like, let's go. Yeah, let's go. So how did, I guess, like, in the beginning, what prompted you to like look for like a new place? Because I mean, obviously, from the tire shop, like, I mean, family business, like fairly overall, you're probably doing pretty well for yourself, or?
Yeah, I mean, I just bought a house, had a baby. I knew I had a salary that was just locked in. I mean, it didn't matter if I worked 80, 90-hour weeks, getting paid the same amount, right? So kind of came to that thing. I'm like, well, I just bought a house, I had a baby, so, I don't want to live an average life or just get by, not have extra. Have to worry about buying. I mean, babies are expensive, so it was more of like, I wanted to become financially free, and realistically, the way Ty pitched it, that's basically what this is. I mean, you work as hard as you can, and you'll see more results, and there's no end to that. I mean, and when I say that, I mean, there's no cap to how much you can achieve. It's really based off yourself. So
definitely.
If you're a personality to not limit yourself and work hard and stick it out, that's basically what he told me. I mean, I had no trouble worrying about working hard because I know I've done that.
Yeah.
And so I came into this, and I mean, my mindset, I mean, I used to be a really shy person. I wouldn't really want to talk to anybody, stuff like that.
I mean, I think even like when you first came around, like overall, you were like the silent killer that just worked everyone, like outworked everybody. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I came in with the mindset, I'm going to work harder than everybody I got hired with, work longer, harder, as fast as I can, come out of my comfort zone, break that barrier. And I mean, for the first couple months, I mean, that's what I did. So everybody I went with, I said to myself, I'm going to progress faster than them.
Right.
And that whole group, I mean, I did to start. So it's really just one of those things, you tell me 300 dials, I'm going to make 1,000.
Right.
You tell me to be here from 8 to 6, I'm going to be here until, from 8 to 8 or 9.
Right.
So, and that's just the mentality I had, and it worked for me. So that's really how I got into it, got started.
Yeah. And I think that's probably more or less, I mean, from when I see people like come on and start and whatnot, like that's always the mentality that succeeds here, right? It's the guy who's like willing to do whatever it takes. And I mean, especially kind of looking at your situation, dude, I mean, I have massive respect. Like, holy shit, dude. Like you had like kid, baby, a lot more responsibility, obviously, wife, everything like that. So like, it's not like most people, they look at something like this, like 100% commission sales, and that'd be, pretty terrifying for most, right? It's like, holy shit, like if you eat what you kill, you don't kill, you don't eat, especially like when you got, wife and baby, like that's, I mean, shit, dude, I would have been stressed out. How did, because I think most people in your situation be like, nah, I'm going to take the salary job. Like, why, like, I guess you just did this because you mentioned the freedom, but like, I don't know, like, did that, like, were you always looking to something like for like freedom or like something that, could like really like be like uncapped per se, or like what? Like when did that bug come about for you, I guess?
Yeah, you know what? I never even thought about a commission-only job ever. Whole family worked salary jobs, right? Their whole lives. That's what I knew. That's what I've always done. Yeah. And then I had the choice between a salary job and this job, right? But really, I mean, I just thought about it, and I'm like, do I want to work for the next, 40, 50 years, making 6 figures, getting by?
Right.
Or do I want to put hard work in, dedication, work harder, and then become free well before I'm going to, be retirement age or die. So, I mean, the wife wasn't happy to start.
Yeah. I mean, you're like, hey, we're guaranteed 6 figures or guaranteed $0. And, it's just like sweat equity, right? So I'm like, that's a hard sell. Yeah. Like, I don't know how you'd have done that.
Yeah. Wasn't easy selling it to her, but I mean, she's been a great support. And that's big too, surrounding yourself with people that can kind of see the vision with you.
Yeah.
If you're just banging heads with somebody and whatnot, that's not the people you want to surround yourself with. And that's why the culture here has just made it like huge for us. Cause you come in, everybody you're around wants you to win. We want each other to win. Nobody's afraid to help. I mean, there's no secrets in how to sell, right? Everybody wants everybody to sell, and it doesn't hurt you or make you any better to keep your secrets, right?
Right, literally.
So, coming in and that happening and being able to progress as fast as I could because of the culture I was around, I mean, helped us tremendously, and we could see the potential from it rather than, stressing that it was commission only, because I knew if I came here, put in the work, there's no way I couldn't succeed.
Definitely. And I think like you touched on it, right? Like having that support system and that culture is like really key. I think, a lot of times like people, there's a lot of great opportunities. Like, you could sell solar, you could sell pest control, you could sell, I was working at Verizon. I made 6 figures there. Like you could do a lot of different things, but like one thing that I always look for is like, okay, like who are the people I'm surrounded by? Like, am I surrounded by like truly high level people who can actually like teach me how to like elevate and level up? Because typically, unfortunately, like where I came from, I was kind of like that guy that was helping elevate people to where there was really no one who could like outsell me. So it's like, okay, like now that I've kind of hit almost a ceiling, I would have to go outside of my market to like learn more and make more, which would be minimal. So, being a part of an environment here where, you have people like Ty who's making a shit ton, Jesse, Johnny, like people who are killing it. That's always like a good culture. Cause then like you said too, super crazy because most sales, it's like, no, dude, like I'm not telling you my secret juice, man. This is my shit. You know what I mean? But here it's such an open book where I'm like, I almost didn't feel real in the beginning, man. I don't know. It's pretty neat. It's pretty sick.
And I mean, I think that's the greatest thing about you, you know, Ty, Johnny, Jesse, everybody. It's just, you see somebody come in, start, and you're like, well, that's the new guy. But as soon as you see them succeed, I mean, and I've gotten to that point where you see somebody that you helped succeed, makes you feel really good.
Dude, it's such a cool feeling. It's such a cool feeling.
When you get in like the car business, stuff like that, I mean, I've never been in it, but I've heard that, you know, it's so competitive to the point where, you know, we're fighting over deals, don't want you to succeed because I want to beat you. I mean, it just came in, it's competitive to the fact where we want to help you do good. That way I can do good. You're chasing me, but I want you to pass me, right?
Right.
Because that just makes you feel good no matter what.
Yeah.
And it doesn't affect your, you know, you're not fighting over anything, right? There's just unlimited leads.
And that's the thing. There's unlimited leads, right? So like a lot of people who come from brick and mortar stores like car sales, it's like, dude, you guys are, you know, I work car sales for, you know, a bit, and it was like, okay, like we're fighting for clients who come through the door to where it's like, oh, like same thing at Verizon though, there's only so much foot traffic.
Right.
Same thing with most, you know, sales environments. So it's like, okay, here we have unlimited leads.
Exactly.
It's okay, you know, if I have I have thousands of leads that they're all my leads, exclusive. So it's not like you're calling, you know, my little Betty whatever.
Exactly.
Whatever, you have your own clients. And there's so many people who need, you know, whether it's life insurance, mortgage protection, which is just a form of life insurance to help pay off mortgages. Like, I mean, we have that resource, which is huge. And I think most people, like, because it's unlimited leads also means unlimited income potential.
Right.
Which is also like the pretty sick thing.
I don't know the exact statistics, but I think I heard something like under 50% of people have life insurance or something that's active. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's just that whole group. And I mean, we talk to people that have stuff active too. So there's people that want extra. There's people that don't have it that need it. Mm-hmm. And then that's the best feeling about, obviously, this job is you're helping people. It doesn't really even feel like a sales job.
It's really not.
It's like, you want my help. It's the way you get it. Mm-hmm. Let me help you and help your family. So it makes you feel good about even selling the product. I don't have to worry about selling a car for $10,000 over market and getting excited that I just screwed somebody, right?
Yeah, no, same thing. Yeah, like, you know, it's so funny because I think, I mean, for like everybody who's in a sales background, everybody's so used to like upselling, which when we come here, right, what do?
Yeah, downsell every day.
You downsell, which is like the craziest shit in the world to me. Because like as a salesperson, that's almost like, okay, the more stuff I could add on to this client's monthly bill, the more I get paid. Right. Here it's like, yeah, don't get me wrong, you get paid off the total monthly the total monthly, you know, of their premium. But here it's, listen, Blayse, like if you get a policy and you don't pay this is not going to help your wife, man. So we need to make sure it's going to fit your budget. So you're going to downsell, tell them like, okay, you think you could swing $200, Blayse? So yeah, I think I could swing it. Okay, no. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to send them in for $100. That way, because the only policy that matters is the policy that pays when you pass. Right. And we don't want to risk that for your wife, right? Well, no. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. Exactly. And I think it's so cool, man. Like, that's such a different thing to me. Like it's, I don't know. And then too, it's just such a, like we sell good products. Like we're not like putting something in like a weird thing, you know? So it's pretty sweet. Right. It's pretty sweet, man.
Yeah. I mean, and that was even like a shell shock for me. Cause like tires, you want to make more money because you have a small business that you own. Right. So you don't make enough money or enough profit. The business isn't going to survive. So even then, like coming to downselling something, I'm like, this is just insane. Mm-hmm. But then it makes more sense. You know, you have good business, you're helping people, and you know, you're making a lot of money doing it. So whether or not you don't have to get volume, you want quality, and then you have volume in leads. So I mean, unlimited leads is a big deal. And it's nothing like, you know, anything that's out there.
Right.
So
that's dope. So real quick, man, I want to touch on, so obviously like when you came, obviously I think you had a good amount of success, like right off the bat. Like what was it that was maybe different from you, or like why did you succeed like kind of right off the bat versus with some other agents they won't? Like what do you think that was?
Right. Yeah. Same kind of thing I was saying earlier, just you excel as quick as you want to. I mean, this job truly is what you make it, right? So if there's a bare minimum standard and you're just kind of a bare minimum person, you don't, you know, work part-time, kind of doing it on the side, you're not going to succeed as somebody who comes in, is here 12 hours a day, calls as much as they can, walks around, listens, is trainable and coachable, right? So I think what was huge for me is just having the mindset that I don't know anything. I'm surrounded by people who know everything.
Yeah.
And not in a cocky way, but there's just people that are better than me, and I accepted that. So super coachable, willing to put in the work. That made all the difference for me. So going above and beyond what the expectation was helped me excel quicker than is the average, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the setup we have here, it just makes it super easy for agents to come on and succeed fast.
And why is that? Is that just because like the train, like why?
Yeah, training, culture, that support. I mean, you don't have to have any background in sales to do this, right? So you come in, you're talking to people over the phone. You talk to them once, you're probably never going to talk to them again. So there's no, there's no being shy. It's really easy to get confident in this, right? So I mean, for me, an example, right? No sales, shy person before. Coming to this, it's just super easy because it's not in person, right?
Yeah,
not to worry about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the structure of how quick you can excel with what we have here, the trainings 2 times a day, right? That just made the learning curve super quick. So
yeah,
I mean, if you put in the work, you're going to get the results.
Right. And I think one thing too, man, like one thing that I've noticed with you, Blayse, and I think this is really neat because, like from day one, right, you've been super coachable, like, dude, always a hard worker. Like you almost have like it looks like almost like a chip on your shoulder to like, be the best. And I fucking love that, dude. I respect that massive, obviously family, man. But dude, I've never heard you bitch, complain, anything. You've always been super positive and just fucking putting in the work. I remember you had like a shit week. I don't know. I think it was Christmas. Like you lost your voice or something. I remember you had like a shit week, but still super positive, still like doing all the work and everything else.
Right.
To where then now, dude, like everything's like clicking, right?
Exactly.
One thing that I noticed too with you is like you had some success and you're still continuing to have some success. I mean, obviously like this month, dude, I mean, right now you're pacing what?
40.
You're pacing
maybe
about,
more.
40, maybe more. And today is the 16th, I believe, 16th, 17th.
18th, yep. We're only halfway through.
Yeah, so we're only halfway through, which is pretty dope. So, like, you are always still consistently, like, going to trainings and, like, still being super coachable, even, like, selling at a high level, which I think sometimes this has been kind of something I've seen as of recent sometimes is where, like, people, they'll start to have a little bit of success. They'll have, they'll sell 15K in a month or 20K, and they'll be like, all right, well, I'm going to kind of go do my own thing.
Right.
Well, why do you continue to stay coachable?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, too, is, like, I'm never afraid to take advice, right? So even though I've been doing this, my skill set's kind of plateaued. I mean, maybe there's not much more I can learn on how I talk, stuff like that. But no matter what, I never have the mindset of like, I know it all. What I did was right, and I didn't get the deal because it was the customer's fault, right? I still go to Ty every single time, and I'll ask him, I'll be like, all right, this is exactly what I did. What did I do wrong? Even if I'm confident I did it right, I'm still going to double check. I'm still going to take advice.
Right.
And I'm still going to double check stuff, right? Because no matter what, there's no way anybody can know everything, right? So there's always something you can learn, even when you plateau on skill. So, I mean, that's just, you can get up high level, but there's always a higher level to get to. I mean, you're never at the top.
Yeah, especially like with this business, dude. I mean, like people are selling, like 27's dope. Like there's a lot of people who, will sell, 27, 30, and whatnot. But there's also people who are selling like hundreds of thousands a month.
Right.
So like
exactly.
Sometimes I see somebody like maybe they have like a little success, which I'm always super pumped for them. But then if they become like uncoachable, I'm like, dude, like there's so many levels to this. Like you don't even know. Like and I tell that to myself too. Like, I mean, if Jesse's at training, his best month is 62,000. What makes the new guy think that who just sold, 22 or 15 that they shouldn't go to training? Exactly. I think it's pretty obvious, but like sometimes I don't know. Like it's
really just one of those things. Like, I mean, if you have a competitive nature, I mean, I've always been a competitor, right?
Yeah.
So I see you do 40, and we've been here almost the same time, right? So I'm like, if Chris can do 40 and he's been here maybe a month longer than me, there's no reason that I can't, do 40, do 50. Yeah. So it's always been about chasing somebody for me. So even though like whoever I had to chase originally, if I pass them, I have the next person. There's always going to be a person above you, right?
Totally.
So I mean, and it's just a friendly competition. You see somebody succeed,
Right.
You're a normal dude.
Mm-hmm.
No reason I can't do exactly what you're doing.
Oh, for sure.
I got to put in more work. I got to buy more leads.
Yep.
And work harder. You know what I mean? There's always more to do.
There is. And I have that same exact mindset. Like, obviously, like, somebody who hit 50,000 before you and I that started even earlier, or I'm sorry, later than us, right?
Exactly.
Wesley.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this is so cool. Like, this kid's 20 years old, like, crushing it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, listen, like, because he's a loose cannon. And I'm just like, man, like, props to him. Like, that's so freaking cool. And I see, like, I never look at, like, oh, he must be doing something weird or something. Like, no, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, it's always like a positive thing. I'm like, all right, like, I wanna pass Wesley now, right? So like then last month I'm like, all right, I got out selling, which I did. I'm like, fuck yeah, but it wasn't 50. So I'm like, whatever. I'm still like now chasing that, you know?
Well, and that's the other thing too. I mean, you sit here and watch Wesley sit in his office all day, right? The guy doesn't even eat lunch.
Yeah.
And it makes you want to work harder. So that's a great thing too. Is like, I mean, you see somebody walk up to the board and post one of their deals up, right? Well, now I just seen that guy do it. I got to go do it because I haven't done it. Yeah. So it's just, you know, the culture is the big thing. Like being here, coming every day, no matter if it's a hard day or not. It's really the key to success, in my opinion.
It is, and I think like too, because like you could have like, I don't know, because some people sometimes like they'll get some success, sell from home or whatever, which is, you know, it's up to them, right? Whatever. Like we'll never tell anybody like, hey, you have to be here.
Right.
I would say though that can also, like, dude, I don't know. One day I was selling. It was like my first week probably, and I was selling. Bro, I was calling. I was like $500 deep. End of the day, dude, had nothing, and I was like, dude, I'm about to go home. And guess what happened? So Jesse, I kept seeing him at the day, all day at the board, putting deals, right? Jesse walks in my old office at the time. He's like, hey, man, what's going on? I'm like, you know, dude, just dialing. I'm like, I'm probably going to head out here soon. I'm like, dude, you've been selling a lot today. Like, how much do you sell? He's like, oh, I sold like 7,400. And I was like, I'm like, you know what? I'm not putting away my iPad. I'm going to make some more dials, literally do the next 2 dials, back-to-back sales. Right. And I'm like, holy shit, like, dude, if I was home, bro, I would have probably stopped $100 before. But seeing Jesse on that board, you know, I couldn't even see what the numbers were, but I just saw him writing on the board. And I was just like, holy shit, like, there's like definitely power to that, especially being a part of a team like who's crushing. So, exactly. I mean, right, a rising tide or it raises all ships or some bullshit like that. I don't know. I don't really fucking know, but like that's a good one, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I think the big, like, same thing with me is, you know, you get those days where you're down dialing, just nobody's picking up, or whatever the case may be. You're around 1,000 dials, right? Yeah. You know, but, I mean, I've had those days. It's 7, 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just not leaving until I get a deal. And then when you have that mentality, I mean, I got a deal 5 dials after that. Right. Literally. So it's really just like keep going, don't give up, and you know it'll come. I mean, you have a bad week, you're due the next week. I mean, that's how my mentality was to start, right? I mean, it kicked my butt. I got, you know, no sales for like a week. I was like, all right, dude, like maybe just not cut out for it, not good enough. Yeah. I mean, can't do it, right? And then come in Monday, get a deal, get 2 deals. You're like, wow, this like really is just my effort, my mentality. So if you keep a level head, keep positive, I feel like there's no reason it wouldn't work for anybody. I think the whole thing about this business is mental. Definitely. And I don't think it's, you know, mental. I mean, mental comes with hard work, right? I mean, you know that. So definitely. If you have a strong head, then you're not afraid to put in the work. If you stay positive and don't get down, because that obviously directly affects who you're talking to. Yeah, it'll be much different from calling and be like, hey, Blayse. Right. Hey, man, just came back to you. Like, dude, that guy is not buying a fucking policy. You know what I mean? No. Like, so yeah, I think having that level head, man, I mean, that speaks volumes. I think that's why Ty does so well, man, because that dude is just, he's here all day. Never gets too excited, I've never seen him like upset, never seen him frustrated. And I'm sure, I mean, dude, he's human. I think he is. So he, you know, he should have like some potentially. Yeah, but I don't know, he's kind of an alien. But I also look at, you know, like myself, sometimes, you know, coming from sales background, having like a lot of success in sales, going to come in here, like there's definitely been those days where I even kind of question, I'm like, okay, like, I don't know, I think it was probably like my first month. I'm like, shit, like, I haven't sold anything in like 2 days. Exactly. Then day 3 comes, bam, bam, bam. You know, just you got to stay consistent with it. So right, yeah. I mean, that's just like last month. I mean, lost my voice 2 weeks, didn't call for 2 weeks because obviously that's what we need to work is to be able to talk. So I had a bad month, but I came in this month, got my voice back. and now it's going to be a record month. So
Oh yeah.
it's really just like I could have been down that I didn't make, what I wanted to do last month.
Yeah.
Although my mentality was, I get my voice back and there's nothing stopping me, right?
Exactly.
And now we're going
Yep.
up. So
And
fantastic.
one thing too, man, that I think that you do that's really different from a lot of people, man, is like you have amazing work ethic, like dude, like you fucking outwork a lot of people. What a lot of people don't know too, though, is aside from having a family, having all these other things, because I think I hear a lot of fucking excuses a lot of times, and honestly, I hate that shit.
Right.
Anytime I see like excuses of like, oh, bro, like the office is a little too far away. I'm like, oh, cool. How far are you? Oh, dude, it's like 30 minutes, like 45 minutes. I'm like, okay, you understand you're talking about making multiple six figures. I was like, there's this guy, and I always use you as an example. There's this guy, husband, he has a daughter, and he drives all the way from Pueblo to DTC every single day, roughly 2.5 hour drive. Oh, and also too, by the way, guys, it's snowing. Probably took you longer to get here. It's a Saturday.
Oh yeah, roads are terrible.
Right. So it's like I always use you as an example that, like 2 hours there, 2 hours here, 2 hours back, obviously like tons of training, but like obviously it's all leading towards something.
Right.
I mean, you talk about like freedom. One thing I want to touch on too is just like the freedom aspect. Like you and I technically don't really have a boss, right? Like Ty, he's the agency owner. But if we didn't show up today, we didn't show up tomorrow, like he might ask us like, hey, are you good just as a friend? But he's never going to be like, dude, you have to be here. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I guess talk a little bit about like that freedom of like what that has meant for you.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to keep yourself accountable. I mean, there's times where, the wife has wanted me home and stuff like that, and I feel bad and whatnot, but I just know where this is going, what it can be, and she understands that too. So we push through that, but driving 4 hours a day, right?
Yeah.
Not very easy.
No.
You get tired. It's a lot.
I think you should move up to Colorado. Or I'm not. Well, you're in Colorado to Denver.
Yeah.
You know what I fucking mean? But yeah, I mean,
in
you
the
bought a
works.
house and everything. So,
But I mean, I never let that be something that affected me. It was more like, all right, well, I have 4 extra hours here sitting around driving, so I'm going to listen to podcasts. I'm going to develop myself more, practice the script, right? Learn as much as I can because I have 4 hours a day, which is 6 days a week. So what's that? I mean, 24 hours.
yeah.
Unaccounted for that I can be training. So, now I'm putting in 5-6 hours of training a day, and that also helps me succeed. So making the best of your situation and not making excuses, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't know if you ever played any sports or anything like that,
Yeah.
but
I play football and
right.
a little bit of jiu-jitsu and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you don't put in the work, train to be the best, and this correlates with, how you work out and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to, see the results you've seen working out once a week.
No, definitely.
Or, I don't feel like doing it today. Weather's bad, so I'm not going to go to the gym, right? Like
Right.
you can't get what you want out of any kind of job if you have that mentality.
Right. You have to have that standard for yourself.
Right.
And
So,
I think you have that big standard. Yeah.
yeah, keeping accountable, making sacrifices no matter how hard, because it's only temporary, right?
Right.
With any other job, you're going to make sacrifices to work until you're 70 years old, 65, whatever it is.
Yeah.
With this, you sacrifice, a year, 5 years of your life, and it's going to change your life.
Oh, for sure. And actually,
So-
even kind of talking about that, because I think a lot of people, you guys may not know of like the opportunity that kind of is here to where, like a couple things. So new agents could come on, they could sell at a high level, make multiple six figures, and that's cool. Now, if you want a super high paying job, like you could definitely do that in life insurance. You do that in a lot of areas. And the thing that makes this a lot different is you can also have the option to build your own agency. We'll never push anybody to build an agency. That's totally up to you. There's some weird other wacky organizations that, hey, recruit your grandma, recruit all your friends. Like, that's not us. But if you're selling at a high level and you want to teach other people how to sell at a high level, the insurance companies like Aflac, Mutual of Omaha, all these businesses have been around forever. They'll also like bonus out your agency. So there is an option, obviously if you build an agency to where you could get to a point to where you could partner with some different companies and actually sell your book of business for multiple millions, potentially stock options, like a bunch of different other things. So when you talk about that exit, I assume that's like a goal of yours. I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I started building a little later because I really like Sean Mike and how he talks about not giving you advice on something you don't know, right?
Exactly.
So I waited. Obviously, I've never done sales, so
Right.
I waited until I had the skill set to be able to develop people and not throw that on everybody else and be competent to make that team.
Yeah.
So now I'm starting to build. I've hired people. I know that I can train them and help them succeed. And in the long run, their success is my success.
Right.
And, everybody wants everybody to win. So building a team, yeah, definitely a big goal. I'm at, I think 13 agents now.
Yeah, 13 agents.
And I plan to do 50 by the end of this year. So
For sure.
Just building that, I've always loved training people, supporting them, and seeing that growth.
Yeah.
It's rewarding. So
Super rewarding, especially when you have like a vehicle like this, man. Like, I think my most exciting things, like when I was like a district manager of Verizon, was helping the new guy kind of like see that light bulb moment, click on, then boom, now they can provide for their family to where they can make, at the time it was like, anywhere from like 4,000 to upwards of 10,000, but 10,000 was like the cap. And here it's like, dude, I could show, Mr. Little Mitch and all of this stuff, like to where he can make multiple six figures in his first year in sales.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the cool thing too is like you touched on in the beginning, like I think there's also power to that of like you don't want to teach anything that you don't know, which I think that's very like duh. Like I'm never going to listen to anybody who doesn't have results I don't want.
Yeah.
But it's also like the traditional corporate world, like when I was getting advice on how to like help my team like sell and all this stuff, like sometimes I would get advice from management who's never even done that.
Right.
Which I can never get my head around. So when I talked to Ty, he sold, about $700,000 of insurance last year. He's like, hey, sell like this and it works. I'm going to listen.
Right.
So anyways, I think there's tons of power to that. Obviously like everybody here does the exact same thing, man. So real quick, man, I just want to kind of touch into that and then we could wrap up because I know you got an appointment here, what are your next goals, I guess, for 25? I think you alluded to it, continue to build the agency.
Yep. Continue building. Hall of Fame, obviously.
And what's Hall of Fame for those that don't know?
Yep. So 400,000 in a year, issue paid. So selling enough to do that is like a minimum for me.
Right.
I think that's why this year, I've really just locked in, and this month is going to go, allude to that.
Oh, for sure.
You got to start strong. How you start's how you finish.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I'm going to let up at all.
Yeah.
Build, get bigger, continue to grow, ask for help, and be as successful as I can. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It's exciting, man. Well, dude, appreciate you. Anyone else, if anyone has questions, I'm over here, losing track of my words. If anyone has questions for Mr. Blayse, myself, or whatever, comment down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Until next time, dude. Appreciate you, Blayse.
All right.
All right.